Hello again, everyone, and welcome to yet another riveting episode of the wrestling show that I tend to do every once in a while. And you see, the reason that we're doing today's wrestling episode, and yes, I did get a haircut, thank you for noticing. The reason that we're going to do today's episode is simple. Very, very simple. It was just announced, and I knew that this was going to happen, which is why I held off on doing any other videos in case that I didn't have to backtrack in another video wherever I was talking. So, like, you know, the wrestling event that's upcoming, which is WrestleMania, by the way, so that I didn't have to backtrack and then say, oh my god, WrestleMania looks so good, yay, all of us wrestling fans, go wrestling. The reason that I held off on making that yay was because it would have been an early celebration and I didn't want to dig a grave, knowing that there was nothing to celebrate about. That makes sense. If that makes sense. You know, I didn't want to celebrate on something when in reality there was nothing to celebrate about. That meant that I would have to make 2 or 3 videos, one telling them what they did right, and then praising them for it, and then later having to go back and then say, oh man, well this sucks. Well, I thought that I was going to get this, and I thought that I was going to get that. So I decided to wait, not to prematurely celebrate. Wait to see what the final product was. And I'm disappointed. And you should be too, if you're a wrestling fan. However, if you're not a wrestling fan, then skip over this video. It doesn't hurt my feelings. I simply do this for commentary purposes. For some stupid reason, I got it in my mind that someone out there who has control over this, someone out there who's an executive, who knows exactly what it is that wrestling fans don't want. Someone out there is an executive and they know how to piss people off, and they're very, very good at their jobs. They must watch my videos. They must watch what not to do, and then instead of listening to what not to do, they go ahead and do it anyway. Isn't that fun and riveting? Isn't that amazing? So today, we're going to talk about what they're doing wrong and how to fix it. It's very simple. Now, a lot of you Daniel Bryan fans might be mad at this, but Daniel Bryan has no business being in the WrestleMania main event. Piece of paper, facts stating why. Usually I don't write a script, but I figured this time I would be all over the place if I didn't, because I had so many thoughts that it took me 2 hours, count them, not 1, but 2.5 hours to actually sit down and convince myself that it was worth writing. So, the major question was, Bryan, should he be in the match? Should it have been earlier tonight? We found out that the singles match that was supposed to be Spear versus Spear, Roman Reigns, of course, you might know him as The Rock's cousin, versus Edge. Edge, who 10 years ago pretty much set records. Let's put it that way. He's basically been the number one superstar that the internet just loved to talk about. He's the only man to have a live sex, you heard me correctly, a live sex celebration on national television. He's broken barriers, and he's someone that I grew up watching a lot. So to hear that he was in the 2021 Royal Rumble come January, I thought, nah, there's no way this man will win. I mean, come on. He's past his prime. It's probably a dream match to think about. I mean, on paper it sounds pretty good. Edge versus Roman Reigns. Roman, who has defeated Bryan 2 times, by the way. Defeated him once at the Elimination Chamber and defeated him just last week at Fastlane. But why is Bryan in this match? Let me paint you a picture. And I know I say that a lot. Bryan pretty much picked up a chair, walked up to the ring, sat down, and then he said, "I'm not leaving until I get what I want. I'm gonna cry about it. I lost, and I'm mad. I'm a little 3-year-old. And I'm not leaving this spot no matter what." Which led management in the WWE to say, well, we gotta get him to leave the spot. I know. I'll add an extra man to your match. So I'm gonna go over pretty much, I'm sorry for the very long intro. And as you can tell, I'm a little bit aggravated. Because I have a passion for professional wrestling, and they're making it look like it's child's play. They're making it look like it's nothing more than a product you can pick up at McDonald's for $1. Only to take it home and wipe your ass with it. So, should Bryan be in the match? I put no. And of course, the obvious, the elephant in the room. I don't see any elephant in this room. But the elephant in the room, of course, would be, why? Why does Daniel Bryan not belong in such an iconic match? Because on paper, as I said before, Reigns facing off against Edge sounded great, didn't it? Especially if you've been watching the two of them for as long as I have. You've been noticing that they work hard, and for that matter, to see Edge back in a wrestling ring for the first time in almost 9-10 years, that's mind-boggling. He had a triple bypass neck surgery. I don't even know what that means. I can't even spell it. I can barely say it. But why? Why does Bryan not belong in this match? It does nothing to further the story for Roman versus Edge. Bryan makes Roman tap is not a factor because, as the announcer said, whenever the referee was laid out, by the way, at the Fastlane pay-per-view, I'm sorry that this is becoming like an extremely drawn-out explanation, but whenever the referee was knocked out at the Fastlane pay-per-view, Edge was supposed to ring the bell, but instead of doing that, he screwed Bryan out of an opportunity. Why did he do that? Might be something that a lot of you are asking. It's because Edge didn't want it to be Bryan versus Edge. And for that matter, he didn't want to have to share the ring with a third person. Because of course, Roman Reigns has the optional, hey, you know, you lost your title, but here in this contract here, it says that you get a rematch within the next 90 days. Had that been the case, what better time than to cash in a rematch clause if Roman was to lose, that is, than to be at WrestleMania, dropping Edge's chances of winning back a championship that technically he kind of never lost, because he did relinquish the title once he did win the title. That was his last title run, but I guess that's a video all on its own. The announcer said, though, by hook or by crook, Roman won. What does that mean, by hook or by crook? He's practically saying that anything that you can do to win, you're going to do it to win. Even if you got to kill somebody. As long as you pull out victorious, that's all that matters, right? That's what the by hook, by crook means, at least. I mean, you could possibly Google it and come up with a factor. As to what it means is what I'm... Bryan is a part-timer, and this is bad in wrestling in general, let alone in the WWE. Now, the WWE has a rather historic, lengthy list of people who are part-timers, okay? These part-timers get paid to sit on the couch and do absolutely nothing except to wait for a phone call from the WWE telling them that they can work up to 3 times a year. You know that championship that you got? We'll let you defend it January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, and November. And that's it. That's it. The rest of it, just don't even worry about it. You can go on vacation. You can wipe your ass. You can, I mean, I don't know how long it takes you to wipe your ass. That's why I said you could wipe your ass. You could have sex. You can fraud your taxes. You can change your Wi-Fi password. You can find something to do other than professional wrestling. And the whole time that these part-timers are sitting on their couch, just like I am now. This is a chair, by the way, not a couch. Nonetheless, the whole time that they're sitting on their ass, they're getting paid to do it. As long as they don't wrestle for another company. That's the loophole in the contract. Bryan said himself he wanted to be a stay-at-home dad. He already gave out, believe it or not, he already gave out the ending to the WrestleMania match. That it's... That should be on here too. He already gave out the ending to a WrestleMania match, whenever you think about it, because that it's going to be him facing 2 other competitors, in which that they are factors because they've been working pretty much all year. Edge has been working since January. Roman's been working since, well, Roman started. The only reason that Bryan is even in this match is because he needs a paycheck because he has a kid and he has a wife at the house. But, I mean, his wife could have at least got off of her ass and went to the WWE and said, hey, can I have a contract too? You know, I'm one half of the Bella Twins. Oh, that is right. We got a series on E Network. I am getting a paycheck. Never mind. You know, reality TV. Nonetheless, what I mean to say is that he gave out the ending to the match by saying that. He wants to be a stay-at-home dad. Think about what that means for a second. A stay-at-home dad wouldn't be a wrestling champion. Especially the fact that wrestling champions, boxing champions, they have to travel to other arenas, to other studios, to other venues, just to defend their freaking championship. You can't be a wrestling champion and a dad. You can be, but I mean, you're not going to be home to watch your kid. So Bryan in himself, he already buried his own career by saying something like that. He plays no real impact on the match. Bryan lost 2 times before, so story-wise, if he does not earn it, think about that for a minute. How can you say that you truly have earned something whenever you lost to someone 2 times before? Imagine if the UFC was like this. Imagine if the UFC was like, oh, okay, well, even though you lost to Jon Jones, we're going to give you another match. Completely ignoring the whole ranking that they put on. You know, the challenger, let's say that the challenger was right here, and ranked number 2 was right here. Let's say that the challenger was to lose via submission, and it was a clean loss, you know, just like these 2 losses right here. Well, in the world of professional wrestling, these 2 losses right here were clean, okay? So, before you keyboard warriors start to try to be like, nuh-uh, Bryan had to wrestle a 40-minute match before he was even applicable to fight Roman the first time, or Bryan made Roman tap out, what are you talking about? Clean victories in the world of professional wrestling. Not in the world of MMA, however. But let's not blur any lines. Yeah, if he did not earn any possible opportunity, how can they sell the fact that he belongs in this match? With it being a triple threat match, how can they sell the fact that there's one person? You know, it's kind of like one of these things do not belong. Kind of like one of those mini games, you know. As far as I'm concerned, this should be, and as far as you're concerned too, you know, I make myself out to be this wrestling analyst, and a lot of people say that I'm biased. Why? Because I tell you the truth. It makes no sense story-wise. Think about that for a minute, okay? Before you start getting mad at me for saying something that I feel is the truth. And it more than likely is the truth. Why? So what? Who cares? Oh yeah, I put this little part in here too. Why? So what? Who even cares? Think about that for a minute. A lot of you are like, so who even cares? I put this question on here to say that I care. I care enough about pro wrestling to give a reason to say stop with the giving people a chance who have done nothing to deserve it, to earn it. It's hard for me as a wrestling analyst, let alone a viewer, to really turn into your product and then say, well, I guess since he's in the match, he must have earned it. He must deserve it. No. Because whenever I look at the other 2 stories that I've been following this entire time, that you've been building to make this match a Universal Championship match between Roman Reigns and Edge, that's what I expected to see. Because I seen the 2 paths that these 2 took in order to get to the stage that they are now. But now, over the past 2 to 3 weeks, you, as WWE, for some stupid reason, decided that it was a good idea to take a wrestler just because he was popular. And keep in mind that this is not a popularity contest. This is a wrestling company. you decided to go ahead and put him in almost... Why? That's what I'm wondering. Why? It's hard for me to believe that he even had any sort of deserving opportunity, especially whenever he lost to the champion twice. There's nothing I can do about it. That's why I make these videos, so that people hopefully watch them. They see these inconsistencies that I see. They see this downward spiral that they start to take when something looks consistent on paper, like Roman versus Edge versus Daniel Bryan, who's got a one-word catchphrase. And for that matter, just is a fan favorite. Just because someone is a fan favorite doesn't necessarily mean that they deserve anything. Being a fan favorite doesn't mean that you've earned anything. Understand what those words mean. Earn, work hard, deserve, entitled. I'm going to go ahead and end this video now, even though I wanted to talk a little bit more about the Kevin Owens match. Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, but I'm going to save that for another video, for this one is already 22 minutes long. I would like to thank those of you who have tuned in to this content. I hate ending these videos because it makes it seem less, like I'm still pissed off, I'm still mad about it. Even though I got to vent, I don't know if any of my viewers see my emotions, like me just saying, oh, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Okay, I gotta go, bye. Like I'm not trying to portray a person different than I am on camera and off camera. Unlike some people, you'll get like your typical YouTube prank videos. Yeah, those ones are good ones. Those are not real pranks, by the way. Why? I don't know. They're just bad actors. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, because even talking about the whole Daniel Bryan situation has upset me. I'm going to go drink a gallon of moose piss. See you later.